What if enlightenment was never hidden in mountains, never locked inside temples, never waiting at the end of meditation? What if it has been sitting quietly in your kitchen sink this entire time, and every time you rush through it, you walk right past it? We've been sold a very seductive image of awakening, a monk on a mountain, surrounded by silence, far away from the noise of life. It feels right, it feels spiritual, but it may also be completely misleading. Because in 2026, you don't live on a mountain. You live in a world of notifications, deadlines, endless motion. So here's the real question. If enlightenment only exists in perfect conditions, then what use is it in a real life? Zen doesn't escape reality. Zen tests itself inside reality. And that's why Zen masters didn't just meditate. They cleaned, they scrubbed, they carried water, not as chores, but as the core of the path itself. There is a hidden secret, so simple that the mind rejects it immediately. The most ordinary moment in your life can become the most sacred, not metaphorically, not symbolically, literally, but here's why you don't see it. Because your mind is always dividing reality into two categories: important versus unimportant, sacred versus mundane, spiritual versus physical. And once that split happens, you lose access to what Zen is pointing to. Zen masters saw something radically different. There is no separation, not between meditation and movement, not between stillness and action, not between a temple and a sink. Let's go deeper. Imagine a monk on a mountain, no noise, no distraction, no responsibility. Of course, it's easier to feel calm there. Of course, awareness feels accessible, but remove the mountain, bring that same mind into your kitchen, with dirty dishes, running thoughts, impatience. Now what happens? That is the real test. That is the real practice. Here's the part most people miss. A mountain removes friction, a sink creates it, and Zen does not grow in the absence of friction. It grows through it. When you stand at a kitchen sink, your mind wants to rush. Your body resists repetition. Your thoughts drift everywhere. And this is exactly why the sink is more powerful than the mountain. Because it exposes everything. Your impatience, your distraction, your resistance to the present moment. A mountain can hide your mind, but a sink reveals it. This is the hidden bridge, not between effort and rest, but between awareness and resistance. Every time you feel annoyed at a chore, try to finish faster, mentally escape the moment. You are standing right at the edge of awakening, but instead of stepping into it, you avoid it. Zen reverses this completely. Don't escape the moment, enter it more deeply. So the question is no longer, how do I find peace? The question becomes, can I remain fully present in the exact moment I usually reject? Because that moment is your doorway. Not the mountain, not the silence, not some future version of you. Just this, water running over your hands, a plate in front of you, a mind trying to go somewhere else, and your choice, to stay. And here's something even stranger. The more you treat the sink like a chore, the heavier life feels. But the moment you treat it like a temple, something shifts instantly. We'll come back to this, because this single shift can quietly rewire your entire experience of life. In a world optimized for speed, slowness becomes a luxury. In a world of abstraction, physical reality becomes grounding. You don't suffer because life is hard. You suffer because your mind is never where your body is. Chores force alignment. They bring you back, not intellectually, physically, and that's why they work. Friction is not the problem. It's the process. Every scrub is resistance meeting awareness, and slowly, resistance dissolves. Not because the task ends, but because the self pushing against it softens. Zen often says, the mind is like a mirror. Not damaged, not incomplete, just covered. Layer after layer. Thoughts that never stop. Judgments that repeat identity that hardens over time. And most people try to fix the mind by thinking more. But thinking is often what creates the dust in the first place. Here's where something subtle begins to happen. When you clean, really clean, not rushing, not escaping, not multitasking, your body enters a different kind of intelligence. A nonverbal intelligence. One that doesn't analyze, doesn't narrate, doesn't judge. And in that space, the mirror begins to clear on its own. Now focus on the movement, the same motion, again and again and again. At first, your mind resists it. This is boring. This is pointless. I should be doing something else. But if you don't follow those thoughts, if you stay with the movement, something shifts. Repetition becomes rhythm. And rhythm does something extraordinary. It bypasses the thinking mind, not by force, but by saturation. Your mind can't cling to every thought when the body is fully absorbed in a continuous pattern. The circular motion of scrubbing, the sound of water, the subtle pressure in your hands, they begin to synchronize. And suddenly, there is less commentary, less analysis, less internal noise. Most anxiety is not in reality, it's in thinking about reality, projecting, replaying, comparing. But rhythmic repetition interrupts this loop, not by solving your thoughts, but by making them irrelevant. Because in that moment, you are not in your head, you are in direct experience. And that changes everything. Then, if you stay long enough, something even quieter happens. The boundary begins to dissolve. No longer, I am cleaning the dish. Only, movement sensation awareness. No center, no observer, no effort to maintain identity. This is what Zen calls no mind. Not emptiness as absence, but emptiness as freedom from interference. And here's the paradox. You weren't trying to meditate. You weren't trying to reach anything. And yet, you arrived somewhere deeper than thinking could ever take you. Repetition becomes rhythm. Rhythm becomes immersion. And immersion becomes freedom from thinking. Not forced, but natural. We are trained to value results. Finish the task, move on, get to the next thing. Efficiency becomes the measure of everything, even presence. But Zen quietly asks, what if the result was never the point? Take something simple. A bowl, ordinary, replaceable, forgettable. Most people handle it without awareness. Quick, functional, disposable in attitude. But a Zen practitioner approaches it differently. Not because the bowl is special, but because this moment is. When you hold a bowl with full attention, something subtle shifts. You feel its weight, its texture, its temperature. You notice the water touching its surface, the sound it makes, the way light reflects from it. And suddenly, it is no longer just a bowl. It becomes part of a living moment. Here's the deeper insight. The world doesn't change. Your relationship to it does, and that changes everything. When you treat objects with care, they stop being tools. They become participants in your awareness. Not in a mystical sense, but in a direct, experiential way. The separation between you, the object, the action, begins to soften, and yet, the bowl will get dirty again. The sink will fill again. Nothing stays clean. Nothing stays complete. At first, this feels frustrating. But Zen sees something else. This is where beauty lives. Not in permanence, but in participation. So the question shifts, not, is the sink empty? But, was I fully there while it wasn't? Because a perfectly clean sink, with an absent mind, is still incomplete. But a single bowl washed, with total presence, is already whole. And here's the quiet transformation. When you treat one bowl with reverence, you begin to treat everything differently. Your space, your time, even other people, because attention is contagious. So the empty sink is not the achievement. It's just a reflection of something far more subtle, a mind that was fully here, even for something that wouldn't last. We keep waiting for a moment that feels meaningful, a moment that feels different, more alive, more important, more real. But Zen asks a quiet, uncomfortable question. What if nothing is missing from this moment, except your attention? You say, this is just routine. This doesn't matter. I'll be present later. But later is a story, a mental postponement of life itself. Because the mind is always negotiating, this moment is not enough. Something better is coming, and in doing so, it turns the ordinary into something to escape. Zen does something radical. It doesn't upgrade your life, it reframes it completely. Nothing becomes more important. You become more present. And that alone transforms everything. So tomorrow morning, nothing changes externally. The same sink, the same mirror, the same routine. But internally, everything shifts. When you reach for the faucet, not dramatically, not artificially, just enough to notice. The temperature of the air, the sensation in your fingers, the quiet hum of existence before thought labels it. And then, move slowly into the action. Here is the real practice. Do not escape the moment you are in, not physically, mentally. No rushing ahead, no narrating, no subtle resistance. When you brush your teeth, just brush. When you wash your face, just wash. When you stand, just stand. Simple, but not easy, because the mind is addicted to elsewhere. At first, it feels like effort, like you are trying to be present. But if you stay long enough, the effort dissolves, and something else takes over. Not control, not discipline, but a quiet alignment between body, action, awareness. No friction, no gap, just continuity. This is the part most people misunderstand. They think awakening must feel extraordinary, explosive, transformative, obvious, but Zen says the most profound state feels completely ordinary. No fireworks, no dramatic shift, just this. Nothing missing, nothing extra, nothing to improve, and yet everything feels complete. Here's the paradox that changes everything. When you treat a moment as insignificant, you train your mind to live insignificantly. But when you treat even the smallest action with total care, total precision, total presence, you are training your mind to wake up, not later, now. There is a deep freedom hidden here, a freedom most people overlook. The freedom of not needing the moment to be different, not chasing intensity, not waiting for meaning, just doing what is in front of you with absolute sincerity, and realizing that is enough, and something unexpected begins to happen. The more you stop searching for special moments, the more every moment starts to feel alive, not because life changed, but because you stopped filtering it. So there is no separation anymore, no practice time, no real life. Only this continuous flow, washing, walking, breathing, being, and each one complete in itself. This is how the sacred enters the ordinary, not by adding anything, but by removing everything that stands between you and direct experience. So the next time you reach for something simple, don't upgrade it, don't escape it, don't rush past it. Enter it fully, because hidden inside that exact moment is the same depth people travel mountains to find. There is no after, no quiet moment waiting at the end of noise, no perfect version of life waiting to begin. The mind keeps whispering, soon, not yet. Something else first. But that something else never arrives, because life does not start later. It never did. This is where it has always been. Not in the next task, not in a better mood, not in a different version of you, but here, in the movement of your hands, in the breath you almost ignore, in the moment you keep trying to leave. You don't arrive at life, you stop leaving it. And the moment you stop reaching forward, stop replaying backward. Stop dividing this into important and not. Something becomes quietly obvious. Nothing is missing. Nothing is waiting. Nothing needs to begin. This is not a step on the way. This is the way. Not dramatic, not elevated, not separate from the ordinary. Just this, unfiltered, unfinished, unrepeatable. And if you can stay, even for a breath longer than usual, without escaping, without naming, without turning it into something else, you begin to see. There was never a hidden door, no final moment of arrival, only this endless, immediate, living presence. So there is no after, only this quiet, continuous unfolding that you either notice or spend a lifetime walking past. So next time you stand at your sink, pause. Because you are not just cleaning dishes, you are standing in a temple. And the only question is, are you present enough to enter it?